Hello, everybody. Welcome to your BC Real Estate Guide for everyday sellers, buyers, and investors. I am here with CJ Christensen and Donna Delke.
Hi.
And, of course, myself, Garry Voigt. And we're going to chat to you today about foreclosure properties. Now, that is a topic we get brought up to us all the time. We'll get clients set up on searches, and they'll send us the only one they send that they're interested in is the foreclosure one.
Because they think they're getting a bargain, right?
Because they think they're getting a bargain.
Yeah, it looks like a smoking deal.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what most people don't know is the actual ins and outs of it and how a foreclosure actually works. So I've personally purchased one before. We've represented sellers, which was financial institutions on a number of them before as well. So our podcasts and videos and information today will hopefully help you guys realize whether a foreclosure purchase is the right purchase for you.
It's not for everybody, that's for sure.
Yes, so it's definitely not for everybody. So we'll walk you through the process. So the very first step of a foreclosure, of course, it gets listed on the MLS a lot of the times, right? Now, CJ, let's say you send me the listing. You're the buyer.
Okay, yeah. I love foreclosures.
You love foreclosures, okay. First of all, let's talk about why people love foreclosures.
Because they think they're getting a great deal.
Because they think they're getting a great deal.
Yeah.
And I think it's the way that they do foreclosures actually in the U.S., like a lot of the shows, is quite a bit different than we do them here.
So are foreclosures more popular in the States? Are there more homes foreclosed on?
I believe they would be more popular in the States, and I believe they're called short sales in the U.S.
Sales.
Yes, and the way that they do them is a little bit different. I think that there is substantially more of them in the U.S. as there is here. Like, in fact, I would probably say like under 1% are foreclosures here.
Very few.
Don't quote me on that, though. That's not an exact stat, but very few. Yeah. And so you're looking to me. You want to buy a foreclosure. Yep. First reason I say is, why do you want to buy a foreclosure? You say is to get a better deal, right? And then I say, okay, well, let's put it this way: if maybe around 1% of homes are foreclosures, there's going to be 100 homes that match your criteria that are not foreclosures, and then the one that is a foreclosure.
Yep.
So do you think you'll have a better chance on negotiating 99 of those other deals, or the one get a better deal on the one foreclosure that every investor is after and thinks the exact same thing?
When you phrase it like that, there's a better chance that I win the 99 than I win the one.
Right?
Yeah.
You probably have a better chance to negotiate the other 99 listings that are within your price range and get a better deal on than that foreclosure itself. Not only that, but you're going to get warrants and guarantees with foreclosures. So let's go through that. So CJ, you're buying a foreclosure. I'm your buyer's agent.
You're my guy.
I'm your guy. And so we make an offer on the foreclosure. Okay?
Awesome.
So the offer goes through the realtor, then to the lawyers on the listing side. And that offer has to include what's called a Schedule A. Okay, in the offer. And what's in that Schedule A is basically items that trump the normal contract of purchase and sale. Okay, so some of these items, for example, would be like, the home's condition is not guaranteed upon possession.
So if you were to buy a regular house, a resale that's not a foreclosure, would that still be the case?
So good question. And when you buy a house that's not a foreclosure, actually the seller has to warrant and guarantee that it's in the same condition as when you viewed it on that specific date.
Okay.
So
and the foreclosure doesn't hold that.
That's correct. So that's a huge difference.
So this is what's described as is, where is?
As is, where is
MLS
upon
listing?
when you turn the key at the front door for possession. So basically, any time from when you purchased it until you moved in, or from when you saw it until you moved in, there could have been floods, vandalism, robberies.
Let's say you show me the house on Tuesday, and I take possession, the next month. That from that Tuesday to the next month, anything could have happened. Someone could have been killed in the house. Rats could have taken it over.
Anything
could have happened.
And the seller has no liability on that.
And I still have to pay for the house.
That's correct. So that is a huge point that I try to make with people. Like, hey, we could go view it tomorrow, and it's in decent shape. But hey, worst case scenario, we always talk about worst case scenario. Yep. Worst case scenario is when you turn the key on possession, there's 15 people squatting in there. The pipes have been ripped out of the walls. All the appliances are gone. There's, 3 inches of water in the house. Are you okay with that?
No, God, no.
Yeah, suddenly it's not such a great deal anymore.
Suddenly it's not such a great deal anymore.
On the other 99 homes versus the one that's the foreclosure, those other 99 homes, if rodents infest the house, if there's flood damage, if anything were to happen in the house, those sellers would have to take care of the
Correct.
problem so that when I move in, there's not 3 inches of water in my bathroom.
That's correct. So they would be liable to have the home in the same condition as when you viewed it, which is like
Awesome.
a warranty and guarantee, which you don't receive when purchasing a foreclosure. So that's the number one main point I try to get across to buyers is, are you prepared for the house to be in that kind of condition when you turn the key?
And we have nothing we can do about it. Whereas if you buy the resale home, you could take those sellers to small claims court or
something like that, or figure something out, whereas you have absolutely no recourse on a foreclosure. Now, not to say that happens all the time, but hey, that's a risk. Like, we're talking worst case scenario. Okay, now let's go through the process a little bit more. So we get our accepted offer. It's got the Schedule A in it. It trumps the normal, regular contract of purchase and sale. It basically states that the place is going to be sold in as is, where is condition. It stipulates some deposit structures. It stipulates when you would take possession after the court date and stuff like that. So, CJ, you're gung-ho about this foreclosure. We're writing on it. Okay. So it's listed at $1 million. We write $900,000, some counter offer back and forth. We get it court. Basically, lawyers get it accepted at $925,000.
Awesome.
Okay, so just one question then. If you are the first person making an offer, can you have an inspection? Can you do any of those kinds of things?
Now, that's a great question, because this is going to segue into kind of throughout the process at what happens after you get the accepted offer. So the initial offeree, so CJ, you made the offer. We got it accepted at $925,000.
Yep.
We're allowed to have subjects in that offer. So let's say we put
that would be the inspection, the appraisal,
exactly.
financing, anything like that.
Standard, I would say the standard subject to inspection, subject to reviewing documentation, subject to getting and approving a quote for insurance, inspection.
All the fun stuff.
All the fun stuff.
Love, yeah.
So we would be able to include those subjects for 5 to 10 business days, let's say, for example, or who knows, maybe 2 weeks. It depends on market conditions and what kind of action they're getting.
But only if you're the first person making the offer, correct?
So that's correct.
Right.
So only if you're the first person that gets the accepted offer. So CJ, we've made the offer. It's got accepted. We have our subject clauses in there for 2 weeks, and that's inspection and stuff like that. Woohoo. We do those. We satisfy our subjects, and you remove, you say, Gary, remove those subjects. I'm satisfied.
Happy with the inspection.
I'm happy with the
report.
inspection.
We got the financing in order.
Got the financing in order.
We've reviewed the
we're
documents.
moving forward.
We're happy. Yeah, we love it.
I say, okay, awesome. So we now remove our subjects, firming up the deal technically. Okay. So at that point, our offer, what was it,
$925,000.
$925,000. Our offer of $925,000 now gets posted to the public. Okay, so if I'm a realtor or anybody on the public searching for the listing, it'll say accepted offer, court date set, usually anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks after you remove your subjects.
Yep.
Court date set for so-and-so date, accepted offer price, $925,000.
So that information gets posted, and there's still 2 weeks until the court date.
It could be 4 weeks, depending.
Yeah.
You know, it could be a number of
so
weeks.
that could open the gates for any investors, anyone with deeper pockets than myself.
Totally,
to
especially
beat my
if you
offer.
thought $925,000 was a good deal. I'm sure someone else would think $935,000 is a good deal, or $945,000, or who knows, right? So now at this point, we've got the accepted offer. It's firmed up. We've removed our subjects. That price gets made public. Okay, we're sitting here waiting for the court date. They say, okay, court date set in 4 weeks. Say, okay, great. Now let's say, Donna, you're buyer number 2. Okay, you want to come in and make an offer on that foreclosure.
Right.
So you being the second offeree, you are not able to make an offer with subjects. So if you now want to make an offer on this foreclosure, you have the opportunity to show up to court and present your offer subject free.
I do remember going to court with one of our clients one time. He was looking at a foreclosure for a condo in Whistler, and there was one offer of, I think, the 10 where there was a subject, and I thought the judge was going to throw the realtor in jail. He was so mad.
They don't take too kindly
No.
to realtors that don't understand or know the process. So again, if you're looking to purchase a foreclosure, make sure you have an expert realtor working with you. Of course, we're able to and happy to navigate our ways or help you navigate your way through it. So now Donna, buyer number 2, wants to go to court and make an offer. I say, no problem. The instructions are usually on the listing of how to present an offer, include the Schedule A, and you have to bring your deposit check. Okay? So let's say your deposit check, $50,000. And then, or usually they'll say in the Schedule A of how much the deposit has to be, how much percent. Then we go into the courthouse. Let's say the Court date set for October 15th. So CJ and I are showing up to court.
Yep.
You know, sometimes they don't though. Sometimes you don't. You're like, this is the max I'm going to pay, $925. I don't care if there's anybody else there making other offers.
If someone beats me, they beat me. I'm going to my kid's soccer game on October 15th.
Exactly. But a lot of the times they'll go because you also, being the offer number one, have another opportunity to resubmit another offer.
Okay.
Are you guys following?
Yep. You take the contract with you. You see there's 10, 20 people there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if there's that many people there, then obviously I'm going to have to like come up a little
can
bit
gauge
here.
it, yes.
So, and if there's nobody else there making an offer, then, you know, you're in a good position.
Then you're in a good position, which happened to me. You know, I'll use my personal example as an example here. So I made an offer, and it was, there was already an accepted offer. One accepted offer, and they posted the court date, and I had viewed the unit, or I don't even think I viewed the unit because given the circumstances. But anyway, I was going to make an offer on the unit. It was a good deal. I wasn't going to go too crazy. I had a number in my head. That was it. So I submitted my offer at court with a deposit, and sure enough, I was the only other one. The current offeree did not resubmit another offer, and I ended up getting it. So we've seen all kinds of different situations where it's been, maybe CJ, maybe you're the only one there, and you don't have to change your offer. If the court approves your offer, done, sold to you.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is majority of the time,
anyone can show up to court and anyone can put any bid down, and I could lose the home just like that.
There's a number, and they're all concealed bids. That is another huge factor of making an offer on a foreclosure.
Yeah.
The offers have to be in concealed bids in a brown envelope and presented to the lawyers that present it to the judge.
Yeah.
The judge opens the envelopes, basically looks at the price, ensures that the documents are filled out correctly. Flip, next one. Flip, next one.
Let's say my number was $925, and let's say 20 other people showed up and all submitted brown envelopes.
Yeah.
If, let's say, the person, Donna, for example, wrote $935, which is better than my offer, more attractive, more money, does she have an opportunity? If someone writes $950, does she have a second opportunity to increase her bid, or is it a one-shot, one brown envelope? That's all you get.
That is a really good question, and it is a one-shot deal.
Once the envelopes are in, that's it. All
I've
bets are
rarely
off.
seen or heard of the occasion where the judge will allow people to go for another round. I've heard of people losing out over like $10, and that's it. Done. On to the next one. Like the process is so quick in there. Once that case gets to the dock, all the offers are past the judge. He goes through them fairly quickly, chooses the right one, says out the offer and whose person is. Usually they're there. They'll stand up and then they'll deal with it. On to the next dock.
Wow.
That's it.
It is. Yeah, it's very quick.
It's very quick.
Yeah.
And you have one opportunity. The original offeree has one opportunity, and the second offeree is not able to have subjects in their offer.
So you could also show up to court, be all gung-ho to, I'm going to get this foreclosure because it's such a great deal. Then you write a big number on your brown envelope, and then you overpay, let's say, by $100,000 or by 50, like lots of money.
Yeah.
You overpaid because you were so gung-ho.
Yeah.
Or is it, again, if you bought that resale, you would have that opportunity to get a better deal for yourself.
And to be honest with you, I follow real estate extremely closely in sale price and everything. A lot of the foreclosures I see, you probably could have negotiated.
They're not even a better deal.
Yeah. So that's basically how the foreclosure process works going up to the court date. Now let's say the court accepts and approves your offer. You are the winning bid. Now generally, if I remember correctly, and it's case dependent, possession is either a few days or maybe a week after the court accepts your offer. So at that point, of course, you get ready for possession. You got to complete on it basically immediately. Make sure your financing's in place. And again, another huge tip is if you're going to buy a foreclosure, make sure you have your financing arranged beforehand. And sometimes, it's a little bit tougher because you don't actually have an accepted offer if you're going in there to make an offer.
With that brown envelope.
In that brown envelope, you wouldn't have an accepted offer. So you'll have to get a mortgage broker who's able to basically get you pre-approved in a way without having a physically accepted offer. Mm-hmm. So we've had this happen before. Our bid is the winning bid. Possessions in a couple days or a week or whatnot. And then we take possession and there's a homeless person living in the house. Or the seller hasn't moved out of the house because they got foreclosed on, they're not too happy.
Or what if the sellers took all the piping out of the house and sold it to
You got
scrap
to keep
metal?
in mind, a lot of people in the foreclosure positions are not too happy campers.
Yeah, very
They're
unhappy.
very
You know, they're not wanting to facilitate this deal. This is really a last resort for them.
the bank and the lawyers are basically
not
forcing them out. Yeah.
Exactly. They're not concerned, you know, whether the place is nice and tidy for you or whether you're moving in on time like a normal transaction would.
Yeah.
They're not concerned about that. They are probably pissed off, and they're probably going to try to do what they can to not make this as pleasant as possible for the person that just purchased their place. So, example, on one of the places that we sold, in fact, mine as well, there was homeless people living in there.
Right, the home in Richmond.
And
Yeah.
you know, they wouldn't leave. They boarded up, I believe the bailiff or somebody boarded up the windows in the place and boarded up the doors, and they still got in. They stayed in there.
Yeah.
And the owners came, and there was homeless people inside, and they go, okay, well, what do we do now? Well, you've taken possession. Now, this is your home.
Yeah.
This is not we have no obligation to do anything. But basically what they have to do is get a writ of possession. You know, and ultimately it comes out of the seller's proceeds when it gets released back to them. Like, because they may still be getting proceeds, the seller. You know, even though they're foreclosed on, they may still be getting proceeds. So it's always good so that they know. It's like, hey, if the house isn't vacated on possession, we have to get what's called a writ of possession, and it's going to end up coming out of your proceeds. So it is within their best interest to cooperate. But what we have to do is we have to get a writ of possession. Hey, how long does a writ of possession take to get?
A couple weeks.
Okay, it could take a couple months.
Yeah.
You know, so and at that time you're paying your mortgage.
Yeah.
Again,
Not
you have
living in the
no
place.
recourse
Yeah.
on that, right?
Yeah.
You're having to pay your mortgage.
Meanwhile, you're living at the Best Western.
Yeah, well, you're most likely, hopefully, you didn't buy it to move into it right away.
Yeah.
That would be a horrible strategy. What I would not recommend to anybody. Like you have to be prepared to not move in there for an extended period of time in case you have to do some.
And this writ of
rentals.
possession also costs money, which is
The writ of possession does cost money as well. And I mean, what you have to keep in mind is that you may not get that possession, and you should not plan on getting that possession. And I mean, the place that I was living in, or the place that I bought as well, there was, you know, a bunch of squatters in there. I took possession, and there was probably 4 to 5 feet of garbage it was a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo, 4 to 5 feet of garbage in the entire place. You know, whether it was,
that's nuts.
you know, people's items or stolen items, I don't even know. You know, the cops did do a walkthrough at one point, so it wasn't much stuff of value, you know, just like junk for the most part. But my junk removal bill, I think, was like $7,000 or $8,000, and that was a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo. So this is what I'm saying: you have to have that capital available in order to make it all work.
Yeah, if it doesn't all go perfectly according to plan, there's lots of opportunity.
Yes.
You need to, you know,
Yes,
fork
so-
over the
And
money.
suddenly it's not that great deal anymore.
Suddenly, it's not that great deal anymore. So if you're thinking foreclosures for you, I hope you've got a lot of knowledge and it helped you make a decision whether or not a foreclosure for you is for you with this video and podcast. If you do want to buy a foreclosure, reach out to us anytime. We've dealt with many of them in the past, and we're happy to help you navigate your way through there. Do you think, did we miss anything in the foreclosure process? Or
No, I mean, it's hugely complicated, to be honest with you. But I think we hit on the points pretty good there.
Yeah, again, we're trying to kind of walk you through what the process looks like so you can make an informed decision whether or not a foreclosure is for you. There is a lot more to it.
Yeah.
A
lot of risk involved.
A lot of risk involved, but even a lot of paperwork and a lot of legalities that are involved with it that you have to be aware of. You know, GST is another thing. Like, you need to get accounting advice. You know, I've had a colleague that has sold a foreclosure that ended up being GST applicable. Well, hey, that's 5%. You know, on $1 million.
So
Do you want to?
$100,000,
Yeah. Again, it's one of those things that, you know, the seller holds no responsibility for anything. Like, as the buyer, it's completely up to you to do all of your due diligence. You cannot rely on the seller for any information. So, long and the short of it is a foreclosure for you? It's not for most people. If you are not in the business of perhaps flipping homes and investing and have a huge capital to back you, we wouldn't recommend it. Like we said at the beginning, very small % of homes are foreclosures. You're most likely and have a better opportunity to negotiate a deal on just a regular listing.
Yep.
Alrighty. That's it for the foreclosures. Again, if you have any questions or any specifics about the process, feel free to reach out to us anytime. I'm Garry Voigt, and thanks so much for listening.